Hi, thank you for purchasing the adjustable epoxy river table form with or without the router sled, depending on which model you purchased. There is some assembly required, and that's what I'm going to go through now and show you how to easily assemble this form. A couple simple tools will be needed. 7/16 socket or wrench, a tape measure, and a square. That will get it set up so that you could pour your epoxy river table. If you need to flatten your slab before pouring, you also would be able to do that with this form and router sled. You'll be able to flatten your slab, then set it up, pour it, and then after your pouring is done, when it sets up, you will be able to router your slab flat again and then do all your sanding. So let's get started. I marked everything when I set up the form. I set these up before I ship them out. I mark left and right of each part. Some of the parts may say top. The top will go up so it's facing you. What I usually do is I lay out the left and right parts. It makes it much easier to grab the correct parts. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that. This goes on the right. We've got 2 feet, left and a right. Have our adjustable sides. They slide in and out. We'll set those over here for now. If you've got a router sled will also be here, and I will do a separate video on how to set up the router sled and use that. Now we're going to start with the feet. The feet look like this. That's what supports our sliding pipe. There's 2 bolts down here. Goes in a T-track down along the front of the plastic. There's also a wing that comes off of this, that with a hole in it. That is to fasten the form to your bench, sawhorses, or to clamp. There's room here to clamp also if you don't want to put holes in your bench or your sawhorses. You will need to clamp this down so that it is fixed and it's stable. The HDP plastic, which I use for the form, is very slippery. It will move around. Once you get it leveled up, once you level your form, you want to make sure it stays in the same position. That way your epoxy does not run to one side or the other once it's leveled. So it is a good idea to fasten this to a bench. When you're using the router sled, you're going to need to fasten it to a sawhorse, bench, clamp it. It has to be fastened. What you'll do is in this T-slot, you'll take a 1/4 bolt. Head slides down through the track. You'll need 2 of these bolts per foot. If your fixed side, in this case, the fixed side is on the left side. Sometimes I put them on the right side. Doesn't really matter. If your fixed side is on the left, make sure you put the left foot on first, because the T-slot does not go through the fixed side. You will not be able to slide the bolt head through the fixed side. So we'll go ahead and we'll put the bolts for the right foot also on. You can kind of line them up with the adjustable side. This side here slides in and out. Says left and right. Okay. There is inserts in there so that the screws are not stripped out. So we'll go ahead and we'll put our feet on. Right side, the bolts will go through these 2 holes. And that'll fasten it to the plastic. You want to leave them loose right now until we get everything together, and then you can go ahead and tighten them up. 7/16 socket or wrench is required. Slide these down. Same thing, you have 2 lock washers and you have 2 nuts. Once the feet are on, the next step is going to put the sliding pipes on. Now, with the pipes, like I said in the beginning, it is marked top. That's the side that's going to go up on the form. Okay, you're going to be able to see that. On the other end, that hooks to the feet. Okay, this is your adjustment knob. This part here slides onto the foot. There's arrows, 2 arrows. They both have to go in the same direction. That is the way I assembled it before I sent it to you. I mark everything that way. Hopefully the assembly will be much easier for you. All right, so we'll slide that on the foot. We'll thread these bolts in. Okay, that's sitting there. We'll go ahead, we'll do the left side. Same thing. Top goes up. Our 2 arrows have to be on the same side. That's going to make it much easier to assemble. Not to say that it will not go together the other way, but it's going to be a lot easier if you follow the arrows and keep them going the same way. That was the way I put it together. So I know it works that way. Okay, now once you have this, you want to check, make sure the pipes and the adjustable side are square. You'll need a square. You'll put it on the adjustable side. Just go down the pipe. Should be pretty much square. When you know these are square, then you can go ahead and tighten your feet. And that's where your pipes are going to be. If you're pouring a square table, you're going to leave them fixed so they're square. If you're going to pour an angled table, which you may pour an angled table on here, you may have to slide the feet one way or another in order to get the form where you want it. Okay? So we'll go ahead, we'll tighten everything up, 7/16. Also, all this steel, I coat it with paste finishing wax, min wax. That's what I used in particular. It's going to prevent the epoxy from sticking to the raw metal. Raw metal and epoxy do not go well together. The epoxy sticks to the raw metal, very hard to get off. So you want to make sure it's waxed, multiple coats. Okay, I put a few coats on for you before I send it. You want to make sure you add a couple more. A couple extra coats will not hurt. Also for the tracks up on top of the sides and the T-track in the plastic, you can wax them and it will make the bolts slide a lot easier down through the tracks. Once you have everything tightened, we're going to go ahead and slide the adjustable side out, and then I'm going to show you how to set up the sliding sides. Okay, now you loosen these up. They're probably already loose. This adjusting side slides back and forth. Okay, if you're going to pour a table at an angle, this will angle. But it'll only angle so far, and then you're going to have to start sliding the feet to get more angle out of it. We're going to go ahead and set this up as a square table. It's just going to be a little easier for us. Okay, and I think I have to move these feet a little bit. Let me go ahead and move these, get these adjusted a little bit. Okay, once you have everything adjusted, now you're going to slide out your adjustable sides to the width of the table you want to pour. I have a slab here of Pennsylvania black walnut. I'm going to bring it up, and we're going to use that to set up around that. So let me go ahead and grab it. Here it is. We're going to go ahead and put this in the form. Okay, now you have to decide exactly how wide you want this. We're going to just pick a measurement here. We're going to go 17.5 inches. So we'll measure 17.5. We'll tighten this one. We should be pretty close over here. We are. You just have to tap it over a little bit. Okay, and then we can go ahead and tighten this side. Now this is solid, it's fixed, it's not going anywhere. Next step, we have to put a side right here. That's where these sides here come in, these sleeves. This slides in and out. It adjusts to the different widths. There's two sliding sides that you will get. You'll get a 6 to 7 inch and a 12 inch to 24 inch, and then the 6 to 7 expands out to 12 inches. So you'll go ahead and you'll put this on. Okay. Now you want to take your square and you want to make sure that our table's square. If we're making a square table, we want it to be square. So as we square it up, we can go ahead and tighten this. Okay, these wing nuts on the top, I'll show you over here, give you a closer view. These wing nuts loosen this up so it'll slide in and out. Loosen these up, this slides in and out. So let's go ahead and we'll get this squared up. Now, once we get it squared up, the next thing, you're going to tighten your wing nuts. Okay. Now, you also want to check for square up and down this way. Not only here, but you also want to check vertical. And in this case, I need to adjust it a little bit. Okay, it wasn't quite square, so we turn it a little bit, we tighten it up. You don't need to go super tight, just to check it, and we're pretty good there. Okay, once you get it tight, you're going to take on each side of your T-track, the top T-track of the sides, there's a bolt. Okay, that's what I was showing you. You're going to slide this down, and what you're going to do is you're going to tighten this against the adjusting fence. You're going to need a 7/16 wrench for this, which I don't have right here with me. The socket won't fit because it's too close to the edge. You're going to put 2 of these on each side. You're going to slide them down, and what this is going to do is it's going to hold your place for the sliding side, because you're going to have to take this out and you're going to have to do your caulking. So when you take this out, you'll just slip this back in the same exact position, and you won't have to be messing around, adjusting things. So once you get to that point, you have everything set up. You're going to take the slab out. So we're going to go ahead and take this slab out. We have everything set up. If I can get it out. We have everything set up. Now, what you're going to do is take, and any seams, you're going to caulk. You're going to use silicone caulk. I like the 30-minute silicone caulk. Works pretty good. Dries relatively quickly. If you give it a couple hours, make sure it's nice and dry, and you'll be able to start pouring. Okay, it's pretty much dry in 30 minutes, but I would give it a little extra time before you put your wood in and start pouring the epoxy. So you're going to want to, any seams, put caulk. Okay, run your finger over, keep it a nice tight caulk bead. Also on these sliding sides, you're going to want to caulk where the sheet metal and the plastic meet. You're going to caulk down this side on the bottom and down this side. You don't have to really caulk where the wing nut is because you're not going to be pouring a table that high. And then once you get both of these sides caulked, then you can go ahead and put it in the form, and then you're going to caulk down along here, along the bottom, and up the side. Okay, inside and outside. The sliding fence, I also recommend you caulk on the outside. It's not going to hurt anything. It's going to come right off. This is HDPE plastic. The silicone will not stick real well to it. It'll stick enough to do your pour, but it will not hurt it. It'll come off easy. So once you do your caulking and it dries, then what I suggest to do is take Minwax, paste wax, car wax, some type of wax, or an epoxy release, and you're going to spread that all over the form. Okay? The HDPE plastic, it releases epoxy well, but I suggest you put a release on it. Over time, this plastic scratches. You're going to see scratches on the form. These are new forms, but even when I test them by sliding the sides across the bottom of the form, there's scratches in it. It's very easily scratched. So what you want to do is take your finishing wax, put it on a rag, and then you're going to go ahead and you're going to, after the caulk dries, you're going to rub the wax all over the form. Very important that you put wax on the sliding sides, the sleeve where the plastic slides in and out. This needs to be waxed. Multiple coats you want to do the wax. Does not hurt to do more coats than not enough. Also, inside this sleeve, you want to make sure you wax inside the sleeve. You're going to caulk it and seal it, but just in case any epoxy was to leak into the inside, you'd be able to get this apart. Okay, it's going to make it easier than if you have raw steel on there. Okay, hope I made it easy to assemble the form. Like I said, I am going to make a router sled separate video to show you how to use the router sled on this same form. Once you're ready to pour, make sure you check your level this way and across, and make sure your form is fastened to a table, sawhorse, or clamped. And you can put shims underneath to level your form up if need be. Hope that helps, and let the rivers rage on.